Pit stops are supposed to be the race within the race, perfectly choreographed, lightning fast, and executed down to the smallest detail. But when one thing goes wrong, the consequences can be dangerous. In NASCAR, pit crew members put themselves right in the middle of the chaos just to help their driver out on the racetrack. Over the years, what could have been routine stops for teams have turned into shocking accidents, with crew members getting hit, cars losing control, and moments that remind everyone just how risky pit road really is.
Of Ron Hornaday. Let's go back and take a look. The 25 of Richard Johns was coming in. Here is the 77, and here's 25, and watch what happens. Oh, the tire carrier on the right front.
You know what, that pit road is dangerous. And these guys have to be very, very careful. Hopefully he didn't break a leg or something.
Well, thank goodness they make them wear the helmets. And you can see.
And these guys are athletes.
Absolutely. It looks like he's up and he's walking. We'll get an update from pit lane as soon as we can. That is good news. There's Shannon. I'm sure she'll get it to us as quickly as she can. Meanwhile, out on the track, there goes Jason Leffler. He is going to go around Kelly Byers. That's for second. Eric Almirola, there he is, trying to pull away again.
That's right. Jason's going to try to run him down as hard as he can.
And we have a huge fire on the pit lane. It looks like it's right down around the Eric McClure.
We got a guy
pit
on
area.
fire too behind the wall.
Oh my goodness, a scary situation on pit road here at Richmond.
Safety workers were quickly there to extinguish the fire.
That's Brendan Gaughan's pit. I saw Eric McClure's, couldn't see who was on fire because of all the flames and smoke.
Wow.
Wow, look at the fuel man.
We haven't seen a fire like that in a long time.
And kudos to the safety workers who were right there on the spot to extinguish it. And we don't know for sure if the young man seen here was the one on fire, but it appears that everybody is okay.
In the middle of the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Richmond in 2015, during the pit stop, Brendan Gaughan's car would erupt in flames. The fuel man would have to run away from the car while he was fueling it just to get away from the fire. Most likely what happened in the situation was the lug nuts were so hot when they came off the race car that when the fuel touched it, it ignited the flames. Thankfully, the fuel man and everybody else on pit road was okay after this, but this was a very scary situation for all that were involved. Being a pit crew member takes guts and determination to be the best, and it is a very scary situation when you're just doing your job, what you get paid to do, and you get caught on fire. This is something that NASCAR has definitely tried to prevent in recent years, especially in the Cup Series, moving away from 5 lug nuts to 1, and we have prevented a lot of fires in doing so. That wasn't the main reason to do it, but it definitely has prevented these situations. At Homestead in 2001, there was a very scary incident on pit road, and it wasn't even during the pit stop. Ward Burton was pulling out of his own pit stall when he made contact with another car. After he made contact with the other car, Ward Burton would go flying into the 28 pit crew of Ricky Rudd, creating a scary scene on pit road. Thankfully, the ambulance arrived on scene and was able to transport multiple people to the hospital after this horrific accident on the pit lane during the race.
Oh, trouble on pit road, my goodness. Ward Burton has gone through Ricky Rudd's pit crew after contact leaving his stall.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness gracious.
I think Ward made contact with another car on pit road.
Ward Burton coming out of his stall. He and Casey Atwood hit.
And he got about 3 guys, it looks like, maybe and the NASCAR official. The official goes up on the hood and rides the 22 car, and Ward wisely stopped. Thank goodness he did.
The 2003 EA Sports 500 at Talladega is forever remembered by Elliott Sadler doing barrel rolls down the backstretch after being caught up in a wreck when he went flying through the air and then landing on all 4 tires. But something else happened on that day involving Elliott Sadler. When Elliott Sadler was leaving his pit stall after completing his pit stop, he would tag the 43 car, and the 43 car would spin right into his own pit stall, knocking over his own pit crew members. And even Richard Petty was there to check on his own team after this accident.
He's down the lane. Oh, he hits the 43. Our crewman's down.
Michael Waltrip is on pit road. It's a 4-tire change. He said he had no idea what happened out there. They took 4 because they're 4 laps short. He's going to have to come back and top off. Back to you, Matt.
Jeff Green is trying to turn on pit road. A crew member on the 43 was struck. They're trying to help him off pit road. We'll update the situation momentarily.
Just trying to hit the same spot. Watch the 43 cars trying to come into his pit, and Elliott's trying to leave. He just hooks the left rear. And those poor guys they got nowhere to go.
Man, that jackman gets knocked about 10 feet down the racetrack.
Fortunately, he didn't get run over by the 38 car once he got thrown down the racetrack. Watch here. He took a hit.
Thank goodness for those helmets they're wearing, too. Matty?
Now, I understand this isn't necessarily a NASCAR clip, but it is ARCA, and really, NASCAR and ARCA are the same thing. So in 2016, when Gus Dean was heading down the pit lane, going to make his pit stop, he was carrying way too much speed into his pit box. NASCAR tries to measure the pit road speed to be linked up to how fast you'd enter your pit box and safely. At Pocono, it is pretty high. It is 55 miles per hour. And Gus Dean probably didn't slow down that much past the 55 miles per hour when entering his pit stall, because he immediately locked up his brakes and went flying through his box, hitting his pit crew members and sending them flying down across the track. Thankfully, they were able to be escorted off into an ambulance to be taken to the infield care center after this.
Coming into the pits, Phil.
Yeah, he looks like he's able to slow a little bit, but man, oh man, wasn't quite able to get it stopped. And look at the contact he made with our jackman and front tire changer.
We have an onboard from Gree Cooling Products, and we see that Pedro Martinez, who is the tire changer, got up immediately. Now, from onboard, look at this. John had the jack in his hand, and they tried to make evasive action of some kind, but Gus wasn't able to stop at all, and you saw that car completely spin around.
But those guys had the presence of mind to jump when that car got to
One crewman got upended. And it happened when 4th place Reed Sorensen was leading 5th place Tony Stewart into the pits from the DirecTV Hot Pass cam. Wow. Jason Lee, Tony's jackman, went up and over. Now watch how close Tony is to Reed coming in.
And that's the reason Jason Lee couldn't go out there, because the 41 was coming in and there just wasn't any room for him to run across the front of the car.
And because Sorensen short pitted right at the back of his pit, you'll see when Tony pulls out here, there's not a lot of room either.
But you don't think these guys are athletes? He never checked up with that jack, getting the right side and then the left side of that.
If you ask me right here, Tony Stewart in this pit road accident involving one of his crew members was a freak deal. He was pulling into his pit stall at the same time the car in front of him was pulling in. I happened to set the jackman off of his rhythm, and Tony Stewart, with nowhere to go, ran over his own jackman. But can you believe that the jack guy stood back up and was able to continue the pit stop? It just shows that these pit crew members are athletes. They can take a hit and get back up. A lot of these pit crew members are former college athletes who didn't make it to pro, maybe baseball, basketball, or especially football. After this, Tony Stewart was furious with the 41 car and would hit him as he was exiting his pit stall. But if you thought that was egregious, well, just wait until you see this one. Racing hard on the racetrack at Dover in 2007, Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart would tangle coming off turn number 4. Tony Stewart wouldn't lift, and Kurt Busch would clear himself into the wall, spinning himself out, and Tony would finish him off by putting him into the wall. Under the caution flag, when Tony Stewart was in his pit stall trying to get his repairs done, Kurt Busch would drive into his stall and almost hit Tony Stewart's crew members. NASCAR immediately called Kurt Busch, the team owner, and the crew chief to the hauler, because this is something you should never be doing during a race.
Stewart comes to pit road, and then Kurt Busch comes in as they're looking at the damage to Stewart's car. Kurt comes up to offer his opinion.
And guess what? That got the 2 car parked for the day. Meet me at the Oval Office, please.
Yeah, it's nothing to play around with there with crew members out there that basically have no protection.
Steve Burns.
Mike, here's the update that we know down here in the garage. Crew Chief Troy Raker has summoned his crew to the transporter. He said if you're not working on that race car, come to the transporter immediately, and it is our understanding that NASCAR may meet them in there for a meeting.
Condale Jr.'s car, and you've got to be agile when you're on pit road. Watch Todd Colburn, the jackman for Bill Elliott, try to scooch out of the way as Jack Sprague goes by. Todd gets upended, gets right back up, back at it.
Looks like everybody but Todd Bodine, Elliott Sadler, Bobby Labonte, Kyle Petty, everybody else is on pit road. Whoa! Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch get together. He gets one of the crew members. There's some mistakes. This will cost you getting in the Daytona 500.
The 97 was out of control getting on pit road. He couldn't even get it wound up.
The jackman was hit, but he is okay. Matt.
See Kurt Busch there in the outside line right there. He was out of control when he got to the entrance of pit road, Darrell.
Yeah, he did not know they were going to pit, and when he saw that they were, he tried to come with them, and he couldn't make it.
Now the rest of the guys come to pit road. Todd Bodine, Elliott Sadler, Bobby Labonte, Kyle Petty, they're on pit road, as well as Ryan Newman's back on pit road.
Now the jackman for Kurt Busch gets upended, held the jack out for protection, and he is okay. Scott Radell, the jackman.
But late into that run, he said the car fell off big time. He said he was in a four-wheel drift there.
Oh, the huge
end,
wreck
so
on pit road. We talked about how narrow it was, and look at this. They're piled up at the end of pit road.
Piled up. There's like 6 cars. You can't even get by. Huge damage to the 48, the 37 we see in there. Unbelievable.
The others that were up front not affected.
Look, the one has an issue on his pit stop. It is chaos on pit road.
And look at this. The chaos back here. Corey LaJoie in the 32.
The 2018 Watkins Glen race saw Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott both have mishaps on pit road, but they ended differently. On one hand, you had the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. As he was exiting his pit stall, he accidentally ran over the air hose that was underneath his race car. When that happened, the air hose would be ripped out of the tire changer's hand because it was wrapped around the jackman's leg. The worst part about it is Ryan Blaney also couldn't even get out of his pit stall without almost running over Denny Hamlin's crew members. Tires were rolling all over the pit lane, and it was a disaster. Thankfully, Denny Hamlin's tire changer didn't get pulled to the ground by the hose because that could have been very dangerous. On the other hand, Chase Elliott almost ran over his own tire changer, who did an amazing save by jumping over the race car and landing holding the gun that would not create a penalty. Elliott would then go on to win the race. In 2013 at Loudon, New Hampshire, Jeff Gordon was exiting his pit stall when the 34 car of David Reagan was trying to pull into his, and Reagan would slide into his pit box, almost hitting his own members. This could have been even more catastrophic because they were being squeezed in by the car and the wall. At Pocono in 2019, when exiting the pit lane, Jimmy Johnson would run over his jack, and it would bounce back and hit the jackman's legs. I couldn't imagine the pain that this crew member felt after getting a jack to the shin.
Watch this right here. There's a tire that can, and look at that guy go up on the hood.
Wow. That's acrobatic. And Casey Kane is the grass catcher car. Now watch that tire get away from the orange car. Harvick hits it, and a crewman has to take big evasive action right here.
This is acrobatic right here. That's what you think these guys that work in the pits are not athletes?
And our Olympic acrobat of the day is with Steve Burns.
Yeah, that Adam Mosher here just watched that on the replay, and I got to ask you what was going through your mind when you went over top of that car.
Get out of the way, don't get run over. No, it was really my only option. It wasn't by plan at all, but we got penalized. I don't think that's fair to the Bass Pro Shop Chevy. Sorry to Kevin Harvick. He's probably got a big old dent in his hood right now, but I didn't do it on purpose. I was trying to get out of the way.
In 2010, when Kevin Harvick was exiting his pit stall, right in front of him was Jamie McMurray, and Harvick almost ran into Jamie McMurray's pit crew. But he thought fast while jumping on Kevin Harvick's hood just to get the tire so it wouldn't roll away. Now, I don't know if pit crew members should be like gymnastics, but this was insane. I never thought I would ever see a pit crew member jump on another competitor's hood just to save a tire from rolling away. This was pretty epic.
Right here, when the jack drops, it's Carl's sign to leave, and the crew member's trying to get it out of the back window, but just doesn't do it. I mean, that's as much of an effort as you can give as a crew member trying to get that wrench out.
I wonder, Andy Petrie, would taking equipment out of the box include dragging a crewman out of the box?
Well, I don't know if the crewman counts as part of the equipment, but as you can see, that at least part of that wrench was still in the car. But even if not, that would still have been a penalty because they carried that equipment outside of the pit box before they removed it.
And this is what happens when you're trying to get in and out, 2-tire change, and boom. You know, you're counting on your spotter.
See, Kyle Busch almost ran into the car in front of him.
You're counting on spotters. You're counting on help from your pit crew. You see the 48 car leaving the pits right here. The 9 car has already committed to his pit. Nothing can be done at that point.
Matt, Kevin Harvick needs forward fight. They changed 4 tires, reducing the air pressure. Fire in the back of the 29. He leaves the pits and gets out of here.
Now that's a burnout.
Fuel can.
But the fuel can, the guy threw the can down and it's on fire.
You got the headers coming out, or the pipes coming out the side where they put the gas.
Look at that. He must have spilled some gas when the can disconnected from the car.
Right.
And my guess is that the guy putting on the lug nuts on the right rear, there was a spark. When the socket touched the nut, there was a spark.
The final race of the 2013 season saw Paul Menard have an unfortunate ending. His car would catch on fire with his right rear tire. As the pit crew would go jack the car up on the right side and they couldn't figure out what to do exactly because they were waiting for the fire to go out, the tire basically exploded, creating a massive amount of force to the pit crew members. You could see them all jump in shock. I don't think I've ever seen a tire explode when the pit crew members were fixing to change it, and this was definitely a first for me.
Today when he came down pit road with no brakes. We have found video of that incident, and watch this. And it's Jeremy Gator, who is the front tire changer. Oh man, he takes a ride and goes down. And again, he did give me a thumbs up. The other 2 guys you see there, they were fine. Jeremy did give me a thumbs up before he went to the infield care center. Steve, you've done this. I mean, you've had to be the guy who's gone over the wall for many years, and you once took a ride almost like that, but it was on the hood of a race car. Talk about the bravery it takes for these pit crew guys to walk out and run out in front of a car that's coming down pit road every day.
Colin Pawsey right here.
Yeah, he's just
front
clean
carrier
in the grill, but boy, to a driver, and he get his foot caught underneath that splitter.
Yeah.
And, you know, for a driver, normally when the jack is dropped, that's his signal to go. So, you know, Carl Edwards did what he's supposed to do, but he just didn't quite get out of the way quick enough.
Would agree. But let's see who. Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Michael Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, your top 5 coming in.
Oh, trouble! Jeff Gordon!
Jeff Gordon and Michael Waltrip tangling. Gordon trying to go through Waltrip's pit to his stall, Bill.
Yeah, a lot of confusion down here now. Jeff Gordon trying to back out of the way. This pit stall down here is a very, very tight one.
Check it out. Michael Waltrip's in front of Jeff Gordon, and his pit is the second one. He's got to go around Jimmy Johnson. And Jeff tried to put...
Whoa! Oh, man, look at the 48 guys right up on the hood of Jeff Gordon's car.
Back on pit road again. We've seen a ton of mistakes. Let's watch this for a second. Watch Emery. Whoa, man!
Oh, that's sad. Wow.
Oh my!
And this, when you're 59 laps down, I mean, I know you try every second, but you gotta take care of your guys down on pit road.
Cars after about the first dozen are coming in here 3 abreast and all looking for a bit of position. Here's the problem right there. As Eric Jones, 2 abreast, tries to cut out, he tags Chris Buescher. The 37 goes around and Buescher collects his jackman, Zach Young.
Of Ryan Reed, take another look. And one of the crew members got his foot run over.
And that's Talvin McClurkin. I've caught up with him here. He's the front tire changer for the Ryan Reed. Are you all right? We saw you take a little spill there.
Yeah, I went for a little ride there. The lug nut on the splitter, and I just tripped going for it, so it's all good.
You can be all good to continue pitting?
I'm so I can hear you.
You're going to be all good to continue pitting?
Oh, yeah.
A common phrase in NASCAR is keep your emotions in check because you never want to make your day even worse. And for Joey Logano, I cannot believe he did this. He was so furious about being involved in a crash that when he was exiting his pit stall, he did a burnout to whip his car around, and he would hit his own pit crew member and almost causing an injury. This was just unacceptable.
Their hand there, Kelly, on how long they can run.
And it sounded like Brad maybe didn't. Oh, and you see he's just hit a crew member, so this is a disastrous stop for Brad Keselowski, who went through his pit stall. He didn't hear Paul Wolfe, his crew chief, call him in the lap before, so they're a lap behind. And now just disaster as he went through his pit box. You saw the crew member get hit in a tire, go flying into the two. They have had issues with pit stops before. It's one of the things that Paul Wolfe told me they want to work on in these next 6 races ahead of the chase.
Coming onto pit road and into his pit stall, he's just too fast.
Hope all these guys are okay. Obviously, that was a big fall, but see all the brake dust on the left front wheel. I just wonder if they were using so much brake, and we're going to see a lot of brake dust here, but I just wonder if he's using so much brake that the brakes didn't work the way he was anticipating them to. You know, sometimes it's easy to, you know, you're trying to get in pit road as hard as you can. You're trying to get your stall as hard as you can. The car just didn't get stopped. I mean, obviously, it's, you know, falls on Brad, but I just wonder if he didn't anticipate it because the brakes weren't working quite as effectively as he had planned on.
If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, if you've liked this video, I'm pretty sure these videos will catch your eye also.